order, and request that everybody join us in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Supervisor Fisher?
Yes.
Clerk Newbeck here. Treasurer Lockren? Here. Trustee Aliaga?
Here.
Trustee Brown?
Here.
Trustee Ritchie?
Here.
And Trustee Nalamoto is absent this evening. We have a quorum.
Okay. You have an amended agenda in front of you. Are there any additions or deletions to what is proposed? Or is there a motion to approve the amended agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda as amended and presented. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. Any board announcements? Carrie?
I'd like to thank the many residents who exercised their right to vote in the recent primary. Of the 29,676 registered voters, 10,019, which was 33.76%, turned out to vote. 5664 voted by absentee, along with another 4,355 who voted in person. I commend those who staff the precincts and the absentee counting boards, ensuring all voter ballots were counted on election day. The overall election process starts months prior and absolutely could not happen without the dedication of the clerk staff, along with the willingness of many other departments who provided assistance before, during, and after election day to make things happen. We're fortunate to have such dedicated men and women who provide superior service to the voters of Independence Township.
Here, here.
That's all I have.
Agreed. Anybody else? Announcements? Paul?
Well done to Carrie for a very smooth election. Results were out pretty fast. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and congratulations to Trustee Aliaga for your win.
Another here, here.
Well done.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Any announcements by the public? Aside from comments, any announcements? Seeing none, is there anybody online? I don't see anybody. Sometimes we don't know, I guess, but, any public comment? Yes, sir.
Would this be the time I could talk about new business, an issue I'm having?
But this is the time to comment on things that are not on the agenda.
Yes, that would be, I guess that would
Come right up, please. Give us your name and
Got it.
like to hear your comment.
My name is Matt Randall, and I'm a home builder and building in the community at 6142 Stonewood. And I recently received a letter on a home that I'm building, and I wanted to go over that with you because I'm kind of having an issue with this. The letter, so last Monday I called in for a brick flashing inspection. It was actually called in Friday, but on Monday they gave me the inspection. But also on Monday, ironically, August 1st, they gave me a letter that says, during a recent audit of our records, we found that work has been suspended or abandoned on the above permit and or project lists you as the permit holder. In accordance with, blah, 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 construction code, this permit has been closed with a status of not approved and or expired. Without inspection, it cannot be determined whether the work has been completed in accordance with the applicable codes. It goes on to say that the permit holder must apply for an extension in writing and demonstrate justifiable cause and an extension therein, pay the fees associated with said extension. If you do not contact the office within 10 days to schedule final inspection, then your permit will be closed and not approved. So I got this letter, I called in immediately, and they said, well, that's just a formality, and so we've given the extension on that. And so I thought that was odd, though, that the day that I called for inspection, they just so happened to do a routine audit and then send this thing out there. So I've been building homes self-employed for 20 years now, and I've never had a permit that expired with anything short of 12 months. And in a few times it took me over 12 months to build a home, it was a simple phone call. I got a 2-month extension. Times were slow. People were slow to get there. So I then went to my permit to look at because our official says this is in the code book that permits are good for 6 months. Well, what I read on our permits is that this permit is only for work described and does not grant permission for additional work related, which requires separate permits. I understand that this permit will expire and become null and void if work is not started within 180 days or if work is suspended or abandoned for a period of 180 days at any time after work has commenced. And then I'm responsible for assuring all required inspections that are requested in conformance with the applicable codes. That's not what happened here. I started this job the permit was pulled in November, and I started this job. Then by the time, here I am at this point. It's painted and it's got all the trim is on the inside and everything. But to make me pay a fee, because I said, well, okay, Dave, what does this really mean? And so it said, well, it means that you need to come down, fill out the extension, and all of your contractors fill out the extension. So, I have 6 permits on this. Whether I hold the permits, I hold 1. I hold the building permit. But, there's a gas pipe permit. There are 5 others. And so they all get a rough and a final. So all these different contractors are going to have to pay $50 extensions per month dating back to May, because that's when he says my permit expired per the 6 months. So that's costing me, because I ultimately pay all the permits, it's costing me $300 extra per month, because 6 times 50, dating back to May. What's crazy is I went to the township today to speak to Dave about it, because he accused me of arguing with him, and I wasn't trying to argue, but when I went down there, she said she just got the phone with my electrician. They sent him the same letter, and he said, well, I started my permit in April, and she told him it expired in May. Well, how does a $427 permit on a whole entire home expires within 1 month, and now they want him to pay $50? He'll pay it. He'll just put it on my bill. So I think what's happening here is, frankly, I think it's a cash grab, and I don't think it's a good look for the township. And this is the only time I've ever seen this, and I've built in many different townships. And I just would like to have some sort of explanation what good this is causing and how this is helping, further develop, if that's what we want. And who is this helping other than the Treasury Department?
All right, well, thank you for coming in. I can tell you that the code does not say 12 months. The code says 180 days. And I did discuss this today. I heard about it. I discussed this with Dave Moran, the building official. And he said that everything he has done is regular. I will review it with him again.
Again, I have a whole...
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I will review it with him again and make sure that there isn't an irregularity here, and I'll have him let you know.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. But just so that I can't even tell you the number of homes I've built, but and I've got many builder friends I've discussed this with, some that build in Clarkston, and none of them have ever seen this before, where you have to pay any fees before 12 months. So this is completely irregular. And whether Dave says that, he came from the commercial world, not from and this isn't a personal thing. I don't want to say he, but I know that his experience is in the commercial world, and this is not the commercial world. So forget about whatever the code says you're entitled to do. It's not kosher business.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of what he's entitled to do. I think it's what the code dictates that he does. So what's your name again?
Matt Randall?
Matt?
Yeah.
Okay. I will talk to him again.
Sounds good. And I asked him to call me back too. I actually left him a message, and I never heard anything back, so I just decided I would come in.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes.
Just one other comment, just so that people are aware, the fees never just go into the Treasury. Building fees can only be used to support the building department. So there's certainly no effort to try and generate more revenues, because we're only supposed to collect the fees that cover the cost of the building department. So
I thought about that.
And then there was some communication by the board a couple meetings ago about them getting to work at eliminating any old or expired permits. So
Right.
I do know there was direction from the board that you should be caught up on things that are expired. And so they certainly had direction from the board to do that. And whether that was part of the problem, I don't know, but I'm sure the board recalls that was brought up. So
I can
just
totally
an FYI.
appreciate what you're saying, because I don't want to drive by a dilapidated half-built home either that's got a foundation and it got siding hanging off a house or whatever that's partially complete. They ran out of money and it sits for the next 4 years.
I'm not saying that because it relates to yours. I'm just pointing it out as a point in fact.
I understand that, but
I'll let the supervisor deal with the details.
I agree with the 180 days. If a home sits stale and it's not moving forward, I agree. Charge them per month. But when a person is making steps every day, then I think that it's just kind of a cash grab way to go. This is not a stale project, and I know this has happened to a few other people only in Clarkston as of late.
Mm-hmm.
With a newer administration that's been going here. I know Dave's role is new, some other changes have happened. So I think it's more about things that we think we can do. And if you look at my permit for just the builder alone, my fee is about $1,500, 14 and change. And all these other permits that are out there, you know, even if they're on average, like electrician was $427, some may be a little cheaper. So 5 permits out there at $300 a pop, $1,500, so $3,000 that the township is getting. That doesn't include water tap or sewer hookup. That's just for the building permit itself for this home to do 17 inspections. I mean, if you look at the 5 permits times 2, rough and final, and then.
Well, I thought you followed 11.
What's that?
Oh, see, I was in that timeline.
Oh, okay.
Ma'am, can you mute yourself,
She's
please?
been muted now.
They just did, yeah.
They did.
So if you look at the township is doing 17 inspections for my entire job, but they've collected $3,000. I don't know what it takes to send a truck out there and do a 5-minute or a 20-minute inspection, but I would have to think they're getting their money, and to charge me an additional $300 per month, because again, my contractors don't care, they're going to pay it, and they just can put it on my bill. And whether it's a sole job and I've got to ask my homeowner to pay for it, when they're freaking out already as it is, because the cost of building a home right now is astronomical, and so they're already wondering, how can I finish this project, or I, the builder, have to absorb it because it's a job I'm intending to sell. Regardless, it's costing somebody a lot of hardship that it's not necessary, and none of your surrounding communities are doing this.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
We'll
you.
look into it. You're
Thank
welcome. Anybody online want to speak? Apparently not. By the way, it's now shortly after 6:10, and one of the items we have on the agenda, which is item 7, has to do with proposed Oakland County millage proposal for mass transit or transit services. Our county commissioner is actively involved in this matter, and in fact proposed an amendment at a committee meeting today that was approved, and Karen Joliet, and she will be in here. She's able to come here, but at 6:30, and can only stay for a short period. So wherever we are in the agenda, we'll finish that item, and then with the approval of the board, we will go to allow Karen to speak. And she has a lot of information about what this is all about, and I think it'll be helpful for all of us, educational for the public. Okay. Consent agenda. Item J, we have a request to approve the Township Trustee meeting minutes from July 19, 2022, item number 1. And item number 2 is a request to approve August 2 check run in the amount of $682,182.49, and to ratify July 22, 2022, a lot of 22s there, payroll in the amount of $339,668.64. Is there a motion to, or a desire to pull either of these off, or is there a motion to approve both?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any comments from the public? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda is approved, items number 1 and 2. That takes us to regular business, item L. First item is the Clarkston Area Youth Assistant Sponsorship Funding. So you have this information in your packet. It's a $5,000 contribution. There is a significant history on making this contribution, and it has been opined by prior legal counsel that this is a permissible contribution to make, and so I throw it open for board discussion.
I thought we talked about this earlier, or was it just during the budget session that we talked about it? I thought we already.
I thought so too,
I thought we
but
already approved the amount we were gonna give this year. For
this might be
2022.
for next year.
No, it's for this year.
It's for
So
this
that's for
year.
2022.
23.
School year. I mean, I have no problem with it.
It's
I
in the
just-
budget.
I
This is
just wanna
just
make sure
to
we're-
allow the fund, for the
We're
fund.
not
I think
double
what you
doing it.
approved earlier this year was our CDBG contribution, because typically we give out, there's 3 different pools of funds that we can donate CDBG funds to: transportation, senior center, and the third one's usually Kaya. And I think that's the one that you approved earlier. This one is
I think you're right.
from the township
Yep.
itself. So-
Thank you. So all of your matters are approved tonight for that. Just help you.
I only have 4, so.
The whole darn budget, or whole darn session. Okay, any other discussion on this? Or is there a motion to approve it?
I'll move to approve the agreement to provide youth programs and services to the public between the Charter Township of Independence and the Clarkson Area Youth Assistance for financial assistance and support of providing youth programs and services to the residents of the township, including preventing and reducing juvenile delinquency, neglect and abuse through community involvement for the 2022 CYA budget year, 2022-2023 school year, subject to annual review of the agreement, and direct the supervisor to sign the agreement as the authorized representative of the township. Approve payment in the amount of $5,000 to the Clarkson Area Youth Assistance for sponsorship funding as allocated under Community Promotion, account number 101-101-880.000 in fiscal year 2022 budget year.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion by the board? Any discussion by the public? Anybody online? Okay. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, of the various administrative boards and commissions, we have members from appointed by the township on the Video Center Administrative Board for Independence TV and the Video Center. And we have 2 reappointments, but they're both reappointments to make this evening, proposed reappointments for Philip Reed and Robert Nemowitz as township resident members. Is there a motion to approve those appointments?
I'll move to reappoint Philip Reed and Robert Namowitz to the township resident members of the Video Center Administrative Board for a 3-year term scheduled to expire August 20, 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion by the board? Any comments or discussion by the public? Anybody online? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? These gentlemen, Philip Reed and Robert Nemowitz, are duly appointed,
Thank you for your
reappointed.
service.
Item number 3, approved Brady Lodge rental with alcohol for May 20, 2023 for Scott.
Yes, we are, we're starting to receive a lot of requests for weddings. I think the word's starting to get out that Brady Lodge is an awesome venue for this sort of an occasion. So there's 3 of them on the agenda tonight. The Scott wedding is the first one for May 20th of 2023. Of course, we're bringing it in front of the board because it refers to the usage of alcohol. And that's about it.
And all the items are, all the boxes are checked?
We're getting pretty good at checking all the boxes. There's a lot of them.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
the weddings are actually pretty simple. It's some of the special events, and we're learning as we go. I'm going to have one coming up at the next meeting in regards to our Bucks for Buses program, which is our fundraiser for the senior center, and that one had a couple of interesting twists in it, but we'll cover that one at the next meeting. So the weddings are getting easier.
Thank you. Any questions by members of the board?
And this is still without heat or air conditioning.
Yeah, that's another topic we need to get into.
But not tonight.
But not tonight.
Thank you.
The prices came in a little bit higher than what we were expecting.
Yeah, but I mean, these people know that that is not provided, right?
Yeah, they know. I'm hoping that we can have this resolved coming up this fall. We've had to kind of sharpen our pencils a little bit and approach it from a couple of different angles. So we're not making promises we know we can't keep at this point. The people are aware that they're gonna have to deal with the air conditions the way they are at that particular time. And if we can get something in there before or prior to any of these taking place, then bonus for them, but.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments by the board? Questions? Anybody in the public? Anybody online? All right, there's a motion. There is a motion? There is no motion.
Yep.
Not yet.
Well, no, Haven't made it yet, but I'll make it. Move
Please.
to accept the rental agreement and all submitted documents for the use of alcohol at Bay Court Park, Brady Lodge, as presented for the May 20th, 2023 private rental.
A second.
Moved and seconded. I've already asked for input from the audience and online. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next one, another Brady Lodge with alcohol, September 10, 2022. Well, let's see.
Ms. Juliet?
Commissioner, we can, we're just starting an item. Would you like, are you ready to,
Yeah, but you should finish what you're.
well, we
haven't
have,
started it yet.
we have several, and we really haven't started it. I was just gonna call it. And so this is our county commissioner, Commissioner Joliet, who has been very active in the Oakland County millage proposal for transit. And she has got, I believe, some valuable information for us. If you would inform us.
Okay, all right.
Thank you so much for volunteering to come.
Well, it's far from perfect, so. Yes, thank you for inviting me. So yes, I'm just here to give an update and answer any questions that or rumors that you've all heard about the transit. I know that I've spoken with you, Supervisor Fisher, and you also, Treasurer Lochran. So I don't know how much you've updated anybody else on the board, but
Well,
so-
information has been coming in rapidly,
Yeah.
right to the end here, so we don't know, it's
Okay.
hard to tell which is,
Okay, so right
Supersede.
now, what's on the table is a .95 mil to be assessed through Oakland County. Of that, there are 3 individual transportation authorities within that, NODA, WODA, and OPC, which all provide services for seniors for transportation and disabled. And we've been trying to negotiate to look at where the lines are that are the proposed routes are, and they're also talking about obviously contracting with SMART to pick up the rest of the bulk. And they're right now SMART is piloting in 3 communities. They call it microtransit. And it's like Uber, so you call and you order it and they will come to your door. And they will either get you to where you need to go if it's within so much of a radius, or it will get you to the nearest smart bus stop to get you the rest of the way. So what is on the table right now is, we've negotiated, so there's a route going through Independence, down Dixie Highway, starting like from Pontiac up through Dixie Highway, and then through Clarkston to 75 through Main Street. There's also another route going through Waterford, which is like M59 and going out that way. So I'm not excited about raising a .95 mil that many communities will not be able to utilize as other communities will. But the bottom line is that they have enough support for it to go through. So either are we part of something to try to get something out of it, or just let it go and not get something for it. So I proposed a amendment to have the 3 transportation authorities at least get the minimum that they were guaranteed. If more routes are to expand in northern Oakland County, they are welcome to bid on them. It's not a contract with SMART. Originally, SMART wanted all of the millage and they would manage it. And we've changed that now. Board of Commissioners will handle all of the millage money. We will be the one that will divvy out the money and who gets what route. So this isn't going to be bailing out any operations. There won't be any bailing out any legacy costs, which I know was a big thing about RTA and MDOT. So the other thing that this does is keep RTA at bay for at least 10 years. And that was a bad deal the whole way around. So it's not perfect. I'm not excited about it. I'm trying to negotiate what I can get for my district to benefit from it. So.
would you be willing to take questions?
Yes, yes, absolutely, that's why I'm here.
I have a question.
Sure.
Are the districts that already have something, a millage in place, like NODA and WODA, are they taking more of the pie from everybody else?
So, from my understanding, NODA just had a millage that went through. So that millage that's up to that municipality whether they want to get rid of that millage because now they'll be receiving money from this millage. So no, they're not taking, it was originally proposed that they would get 0.25% of the overall millage to be distributed between the three of them. And how they came away from that is they went to them and said, what is your operating budget right now? And that's where they came up with the numbers for each transportation authority.
And we have those numbers in our packet.
Yes, yes. And they also get them to a level that they'll be able to leverage those funding for federal dollars. Because if you have a consortium like this, you are able to apply for a lot more federal dollars than you are individually. So that they will be able to maximize that, which will make them more competitive in terms of taking on better routes. I haven't ridden SMART, and I haven't ridden WODA, and I haven't ridden NODA, but I have heard great things about the smaller transportation authorities. So it's my hope that maybe they'll end up taking over most of Oakland County, northern Oakland County.
Okay, and Carrie?
I did watch your meeting today, but I think for the rest of the residents, if you could explain to us about, we participate with municipal smart credits,
Yes,
and we have buses now.
right.
What will happen to those contracts that are in place, and then how do we contract going forward and then receive those municipal credits and things like that? And if they expand, will we be receiving more buses, and how does that?
Excellent question. I asked that question in the meeting today too, because I think for our conversation, that's how you all operate. So
Correct.
it is my understanding that you will get the level of service that you are receiving now. You will not lose your bus. I don't know how they're going to deal with in terms of doing a credit, but you will be assured to at least maintain the service that you have now. And the way that it was explained to me today is that it will improve because all of those buses are in dire need of upgrade, so that there will be capital improvements. In addition, with the newer routes that I talked about that are being proposed for Waterford and Independence, they're talking about capital improvements. There'll need to be accessible walkways for people to be able to use those. So they're talking about sidewalk improvements, walking paths or safety paths as they're called. So there's some room for some capital improvements that will save municipalities money.
And
That would come out of the .95.
Yes, that wouldn't come out of the individual.
any other questions? So just in full disclosure, I know that you are doing an excellent job representing your district and doing everything you can, and are supportive of the program because they've accepted your amendments and so forth. But I have to disclose to you that we have a motion for a resolution in our packet here to oppose the overall program of the .95 mils, because while NODA, WODA, and OPC will be getting money from this project, and we are using some of our township millage money,
Sure.
general fund millage money, to provide this service, we are not going to get any reimbursement for that
Right.
from this program. And so I personally believe, and I'm presenting this to the board, I think it's discriminatory against Independence Township. And so, I mean, who knows whether other communities will feel the same way and so forth, but I just wanted to make it clear that we are taking that position.
Yeah,
Or
and
we may take that position.
You're
if
not
it's-
alone,
if it's
and I'm
approved.
not.
Yeah.
I'm not supporting this. Like, oh, this is a great idea.
I understand.
I'm coming from it the standpoint that it will go through because they have the votes, and I would like to get something from it if it's going to go through for my district.
I know
because
you've
it's
been
gonna-
working hard on it, and I appreciate that.
It's going to be a hard pill to swallow for 10 years. On the flip side, it will keep RTA at bay. But no, I would go ahead with your resolution. It discriminates against a lot of communities, specifically northern Oakland County. That this is the best that they've come up with, and come election in November, the board will change, and it's predicted that they'll have even more support, and we may not get an opportunity like this again. So,
Great. Any other questions? If not, thank you very much for coming.
okay,
Very much appreciated.
I will keep you posted. The vote is tomorrow night, so at 4:30.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time out of your evening.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. So now you've had a little break, Derek, you can get back up with Malik.
Yes, another wedding at Brady Lodge rental with alcohol for September 10th of 2022. Another one that will be under the 250-person occupancy of the building. All of their paperwork and insurance and all the boxes were checked. So it just needs to go ahead and we can christen another marriage.
Okay. All right, any questions from the board?
No.
Any questions or comments from the public? Online? If not, is there a motion?
I'll move to accept the rental agreement and all submitted documents for the use of alcohol at Bay Court Parks Brady Lodge as presented for the September 10th, 2022 private rental.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's approved. We go to item 5, which is the Whaley rental.
Last but not least, the Whaley wedding for August 20th. It's coming up quick. So.
Or is a baby shower?
Oh, it is a baby shower. My apologies. I was gonna say,
There's two
something
more.
must have happened for them, then we have to put the marriage in that
There's 2
quick.
more.
Well, this is the last rental at Brady,
Oh.
so,
No,
but
so-
yeah,
What about 6? Request to approve Brady Lodge rental. Oh, it's just named wrong, never
Oh,
mind.
it
Yeah.
is named wrong.
It's a,
No
it's a
worries.
money thing.
Okay.
so this one is a shower. I don't know if the Whaleys are already married or not, but
We don't care.
it's not our business to figure that out.
Judging.
Nobody's judging here.
You know?
But again, less than 250 people for the occupancy, and all of their paperwork, insurance, and all boxes are checked. So this one is also in the bucket, ready to go.
Okay, very good. Any questions, comments by the board? Members of the public? Anybody online wish to comment? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Move to accept the rental agreement and all submitted documents for the use of alcohol at Bay Court Parks Brady Lodge as presented for the August 20th, 2022 private rental.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right,
Can I
now,
make one suggestion?
Yes.
For if this happens in the future, that, as far as I'm concerned, you could put all 3 of these or so on one thing with the explanation in the MAPE, and just, you name the 3 items, so save you a little MAPE time anyway.
Well, I think we had agreed early on that we would continue to keep these on regular business until we got comfortable with the process.
he's not suggesting otherwise. He's just saying put
Right.
it all on one MAPE.
No, and we can surely do that.
Okay.
I just, I think, like I said, at the next meeting, we've got one that might be kind of a curveball, so if you leave that up to my discretion to go into a little bit more detail when we have the ones that are a little off the norm, I can gladly put them all on one MAPE and get them approved at the same time to, just
Long as
out of
they're-
respect for all of our
Yeah.
time, right?
For the routine.
Right, for the
cases.
routine ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Good.
Thanks, Terry.
Uh-huh.
Okay, item number 6 is to approve the reappropriation of capital improvement plan funds and to do a budget adjustment and to ratify expenditures that were made prior to this evening.
Yeah, this one, I would be lying if I didn't tell you it made me a little uncomfortable. But the opportunity presented itself, and we now have room for about 70 more cars at Bay Court, and we had enough millings to cover the new lot, the old lot, and part of the lot that's attached to the
Derek, I don't know
playground.
if everybody knows what millings are, so maybe for the
Yeah,
for the public.
Well, and I, just through telling my story, with all of our road projects, our road millage projects over the course of the last 3 years, the road commission has been kind enough to call us and let us know when they're tearing up the roads. And what happens when they mill the roads, they tear up all the old asphalt and it gets ground up and put into a truck. And typically what happens is those millings are part of the contract with the trucking company, and those millings are sold. But we've been fortunate enough over the last 3 years to receive those millings for free. We covered all of Clintonwood Park 2 years ago. We did Sashabaw Plains, I want to say last summer. And then this summer, it was just hard to get out ahead of it because it's kind of one of those, hey, we're going to start tearing up the road next week and I might be able to get some millings for you. So it's not something that is scheduled months in advance with the road commission. It's not something that we really have a lot of time to plan for. It's just kind of when the bat phone rings, you got to answer the call and see what you can do with it. So when the road commission called this time, it was like the Friday before Independence Fest, like the day before our big event. And he said, I can bring milling trucks to you on Wednesday of next week. So one was a little bit trickier because we weren't just dumping the millings off and covering what we already have. Because of all of the weddings that we have and weekend business that takes place at Bay Court Park, we needed to expand one of the current lots that we had to be able to accommodate more cars. If you've ever been to Bay Court on a Saturday when Brady's rented, the Lakeview room's rented, the playground's rocking, there's disc golf, we have cars lined up and down the entrance drive. Like people park off to one side so you can still get 2 cars through. It's a wide enough driveway. So we put in our capital improvement plan to expand the lot, which we knew would give us about 60, 70 more cars depending on how we position the bumpers and the engineering of it all. So when we got the call about this load of millings, there's a lot of work that needed to be done prior to the millings being received. We needed to excavate an entire new parking lot, peel all the grass and the dirt off and get it down to the clay and gravel base.
You've got a picture of that on the screen too.
Yeah, and we do. The picture that's here, this was the very first load, maybe 2 that was dropped off. And you can see, if I can figure out how to go down here maybe, if I find a better picture. Well, it's gonna be hard to describe in photos, but you can kind of see where the big tree is right by the pavilion there? That from there moving closest to us is all new area. Everything behind it was old parking lot. So we had quite a bit of space that we needed to excavate. And because it was short notice, we have a local excavator that used to be a firefighter with Independence Township that now owns an excavating business. And he has done extremely inexpensive work for us in the past. He excavated the old spray park for us at a discount. I know he's done some work for Dave at DPW. And he also, and I put this in the notes for you guys as a reference as to why I moved ahead with this, was as I called Doran Excavating and asked, hey, look, I'm in a tight spot. This is the last chance I'm ever going to get at these millings. Can you help me out? And he said, when? And I said, next Tuesday. And he said, wow, that's tight. I'm like, yeah, it is, but this is the last chance I'm going to get at these millings, and if you can help me, that'd be great. He said, you know what, Derek? He said, I'll drop my jobs for next week and come out and help you out. So, just to give you an idea of what kind of community effort Doran Excavating has done for us and kind of how he saved us money, when we excavate the playground this fall, he's going to do it for about $8,500, I think was his quote. So I reached out to our engineer on the project and I said, what do you think the excavating is gonna come in at to get rid of that playground and pack all the holes with sand so we start with a fresh playing field? He said, I'm looking at like $15,000 to $17,000. So that was the first person I reached out to just to compare his pricing. The second one was Michigan Recreational Construction Company. They installed our spray park and they also do all the installation of playgrounds here in the state. No matter who we choose to buy or purchase our playground equipment from, Michigan Recreational Construction Company is the company in Michigan that puts them all together and puts them in the ground. So I got a hold of Brad Sheffer, and his email is in your notes as well. And he said, if you're getting that playground excavated for $8,000, you need to sign the paperwork today. He said, because we removed that identical playground in Novi 3 years ago and I charged him 27 grand. So that's the kind of community, I think, stewardship and discount that Doran Excavating has given us over the years. So he was my first phone call. So he put some prices together for me, and of course, this is where I don't normally operate outside of our procurement policy, and this makes me a little bit nervous, was I knew I had $20,000 budgeted for the project in our CIP that was approved. His number came in a little bit higher than the $20,000 mark, but like I said, it was the last chance we were gonna be able to get this done, so I said, let's move and let's get it done. So the total project, again, when we originally set the pricing at 20 grand, it was just to put in the new lot. Just the new lot, millions, and this is no material included, the price was 20,000. Just to excavate, remove all the spoils, level it, have the millions come in and level the millions, just for the new lot was 20 grand. So we received enough millions from the road commission to not only do the new lot, but to cover the old lot and the turnaround lot in front of the playground. We were able to level all of the low points that collect water, and it kind of over time, gravel roads kind of dome in the middle and they get really bad low points in the parking spots. So we received almost 100 truckloads of millions, which I don't really ever want to see a million truck again as long as I live. But
How many yards is it per truck, do you know?
I don't know the exact yardage, but talking to the trucking companies, they typically sell each one of those trucks for around $700 to $800 worth of material. So
There was a truck dumping there. Was that the truck?
these
that
are
size?
the trucks, but they
Is it
don't,
that way?
they can't fill them all the way. They're weight restricted, and they typically load in the center. So over
That's
the
at least 10
course,
yards, I think.
I'm sorry?
That's 10 yards probably.
Probably about 10 yards, yeah, I'm gonna guess per load,
Yeah.
so, 100 trucks, we received 1,000 yards of material, somewhere in that neighborhood. And like I said, it was a long 2 weeks, but after the millions are dropped off in piles, then they need to be spread with a dozer. And then after they're spread with the dozer, this machine right here levels and compacts it with the skid steer. And then this is the finished product that we look at now. Our guys used our tractor to reinstall all the parking bumpers. But we now have enough room to park cars all the way around the exterior of the lot. And then a car on each side of this middle row of bumpers with enough room for 2-car passage in between the edges and the center lot. So it turned out to be a lot bigger project than what I anticipated, and it was hard to get the trucks there because that trucking company makes money off those millions, and to give them to us for free, it was a lot of phone calls and frustration. Because you can see by my timeline, Doran Construction excavated the lot on Tuesday. We were supposed to have millions dropped off on Wednesday. He brought all his equipment out. They canceled Wednesday because we got a little bit of rain in the morning. Tuesday, they said, yeah, you're gonna get about 40 trucks. We got 10. Friday rolled around, you're gonna get 40 trucks. Matter of fact, Thursday, we got 2 trucks. Friday, it's cloudy, but Friday, I think we got 10 more. And I canceled the millings coming over the weekend because we had parties in that pavilion all weekend long. I didn't want milling trucks coming in there with a packed park full of people, kicking up dust and everything, and there was an open house here on Sunday. I just didn't want to have trucks in there running routes all day on Saturday with a park full of people. So Monday comes around, and we probably got about 60 to 70 trucks on that Monday. And then we got one truck all day long on Tuesday that kind of dropped off the last bit of Maybe Road. So we didn't get, they ran a crew of about 6 to 8 trucks per day, and they only sent 2 of them our way one day, and then 3 of them that Monday that we received a lot of them. They sent 3 of the 8 trucks they were running. So it was a game to play for sure. So I guess the uncomfortable side for me is, although the procurement policy that we're supposed to go out to bid over $10,000, I thought in the best interest of the township and the money I know we can save with the local excavator, I went ahead and okayed the work. We got it done. I think the total price tag came in at about $29,000, knowing we had extra capital improvement funds that I could pull from other projects to get this over the hump. It was our last chance at these millings, and the millings are so much better of a product than gravel. You can compact them. They don't have as many potholes that we receive on our gravel roads. They're just easier to maintain, and they're much more, they keep the dust down. It's just such a better material than what you get with gravel. And knowing this was our last opportunity, we went with it. I kept a lot of people in the loop through the process. I asked a lot of questions of my peers, department heads. I know I talked to Carrie and Jerry about this quite a bit through the process. I don't think they were super comfortable with it, but knowing the deal we were getting and able to save $70,000, $80,000 worth of material, it was a worthwhile project. And now the park looks great. Parking lot is much more maintainable, fits a lot more cars. And like I said, I never in a million years do I ever want to stand on a pile of hot ground up asphalt, but we'll see.
Thank you, Derek.
So,
Any questions, comments? Paul?
And you're right, it's, appreciate you being concerned about going outside the norm. And we normally, don't ever do that, but this thing looks pretty good, and that you had the full-time electeds in the loop. I think it's a pretty good move.
I think it's consistent with what we did the previous 2 years too. I mean, we kind of did that in a hurry-up basis because the same thing. It's like, hey, do you want these? And it's like, sure.
I
And you
think
had to
we-
like run around and get ready for that. So.
We did get a break in the past because the road commission was able to send over a grader to actually move the piles as they were getting dropped off. It didn't have that luxury this time around. And to be honest, no offense to the road commission, but the finished product, I think, because of the compacting and the leveling that was done with the smaller equipment, gave us a much better finished product. So,
Great. Any other comments, questions? Any members of the public wish to comment? Questions? Anybody online? All right, is there a motion?
Move to approve the reappropriation of 2022 CIP dollars to the Bay Court parking lot project in the amount of $9,900 and ratify services already rendered for payment to Dorn Excavating LLC.
I'll support.
Moved and supported. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
job. Good job, Derek.
Thank you.
All right, we move to item number 7, and this gets us back to the Oakland County millage proposal for public transportation. You have quite a number of documents in the packet, but I think the thrust of the situation is that, number one, the county is proposing to impose this on us in Independence Township, essentially without the opportunity to opt out, which has been available and which would be greatly appreciated. And number two, it's imposing this on us without providing us with a benefit that they are providing others. And that is always difficult to swallow. And So I think it's justifiable to prepare and approve this resolution that really objects to this process that the Board of Commissioners are imposing. Yes.
I have a couple of questions. Our department administers the SMART program.
Yeah.
Not to contradict what our commissioner, I know she's worked really hard on it to do the best that she can. We've received 5 of the 6 buses. We have 5 of them are brand new within the last 3 years. A couple of the concerns that I have is if we opt out of this, are we still able to collect anything to cover our costs?
We can't opt
There's
out.
no opt-out.
Well, but I mean, even though if we oppose it, is this going to
No,
cause problems
no,
for us
because
on
that
the
money
road?
comes from outside.
And right, and
That money
I
comes from
guess
outside.
the questions I would have, and the way she made it sound, was that we would still be operating our own system. And if that's the case, we should at least look to cover our total cost of administering this service, which still is gonna be nowhere near what they extract from our community financially.
Right.
But the concern I would have by the NOTAs and the WOTAs taking over the world and having one direct route up Dixie, the thing that I don't want to lose in this process is our ability to be able to serve our residents door to door. Our staff does a great job, and I commend our ladies over at the senior center for the job that they do all the time, because we have residents in this community that need to be picked up from their homes, drove to the grocery store, the doctor's office, their jobs, and we provide that service, and our board has been comfortable covering the cost that doesn't get covered by SMART and some of the other federal grants that we receive. My biggest concern is being able to personalize this transportation and being able to service our residents door to door like we've always done in the past.
Sure.
That
But to the
concerns
extent-
me a little
To the
bit.
extent that we could get money from the .95 mils, we could allocate the monies coming from the general fund for other purposes.
That's correct.
And so, but you know, there's no idea that we intend to discontinue the service we have now.
Right.
Or dilute it or anything. It's just a matter of the idea that if these other entities, WOTA, NOTA, and OPC, if they're getting the money, then we should get some money.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I would be very leery and a little bit skeptical about if we were to lose this program and not being able to administer it ourselves for us, the city of the village and Springfield Township, we would lose that ability to be able to serve our residents for those that are most in need. And I think,
How would we lose it?
well, depending on how they structure this, if they decide that as part of SMART, if they take our service, our ability to be able to function our service, or if they take over our service altogether and just say we don't need your help anymore, I would be concerned that we would lose that door-to-door service. So, and I'm not sure, she wasn't real clear in determining how it was supposed to be. Sounds like let's get the money and we'll figure it out later, which concerns me.
Well, there is some of that.
Yeah,
There's a
absolutely.
Very low
So-
transparency here.
Right, so again, when we have these conversations and you have these conversations at the higher level, that's one thing that I would hate to lose for
Sure.
our residents, for sure.
Yeah, and the comments that we heard at the committee meeting today gave the impression that the monies coming from outside would not be impacted.
So,
Smart.
well, those are my concerns.
I appreciate that.
But in that same sense, Oakland County would be the oversight of the Board of Commissioners, so, there could be some loss of control there on the local level once they oversee, so.
But it is better than having SMART oversee the whole program. At least we do have a local connection through Karen and the rest of the county. So basically what Karen was saying is it is what it is, so let's make the best of it. And quite honestly, I'm much happier seeing that the county board is gonna take control and manage the millage money than shipping it all down to SMART, and who knows what would happen to it from there.
Right. Something that might not be very, very smart.
we've had.
Never to
struggles.
return again.
Any other discussion on this from the board? Any input from, any additional input from the audience?
Dan have any input?
Dan, any thoughts?
No, I think the board knows what it's all about. Do you want me to comment?
Only if you have
No, I really
something to
don't.
add.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, because,
Oh, no, I got a lot of emails, concerns, phone calls during this proposal for the county. A lot of people oppose it.
yeah,
I got a lot of information I was reading, thanks to Treasurer Lackering and other people too. By like Commissioner Karen Joliet stated, that it seems like they got the votes.
they've got the votes.
You know, it's Democrats control the board, and there's a proposal for Dave Woodward, who's a commissioner from Royal Oak, I believe.
Right,
And he want to push this very heavily, and we don't have the votes, sadly, but it looks, for what I see, is not beneficial for for North Oakland County, you know?
no. Even NODA, WODA, and OPC are only gonna get 25% of what they put into this.
Yeah.
So they're shipping 75% down to SMART probably,
Mhm.
too.
Which benefit more Wayne County.
Wayne County
Some of the
or
cities, Detroit.
South Oakland County.
Yeah, true.
Happens to be Woodward's district. I just, coincidental. I
Coincidental.
just bring
yeah.
that up.
Coincidental, yeah. Coincidental, yeah, so.
Okay, anybody online want to comment on this? Okay, so you have in your packet a proposed form of resolution that would, if passed, would create an objection and also state the reasons for the objection. So I'm looking for any action the board wishes to take.
I make a motion to adopt the resolution number 2022-017 in opposition of the 2022 Oakland County Public Transportation Millage Resolution proposing a countywide millage in the amount of .95 mils for 2022 through 2031 to be considered for placement on the November 2022 ballot as presented, and authorize the township clerk to certify the township board resolution as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion for adoption of the resolution?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, the motion is unanimously adopted. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to make a closing comment on that. I think it'd be important if we can get this circulated out in the morning to the Board of Commissioners.
Yes, and I mentioned that to Leanna, who was kind enough to come tonight and
Okay.
stay close to this situation. I think she's gonna,
She's gonna stay up all night and get it ready.
yeah.
Be
Thank
at
you,
the door,
Dan.
be at the door 8 a.m. so.
Yeah. Very good, very good.
Wait, she's gonna go home?
Not till she gets this done. Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. All right, we have no closed session, everybody would be happy to know. We have communications, we have a report, fiscal 2022 actual to budget comments for period ending June 30, 2022, and minutes from the Information Technology Oversight Committee from June 14. Any other board comments?
Well, I would like to say something, I was trying early, but I couldn't, but I just want to thank all my supporters, friends, prison delegates, activists, my family, everyone that supported me during the campaign trail. My father was right there, my dad. I love my dad so much, and he supported me very hard. I mean, he knocked so many doors during the campaign trail. Unbelievable. Thank you, Dad, and everyone, and I'm looking forward to serve with all of you, and I will work with everyone. I'm happy to be with you guys. Looking forward to work with all of you. Thank you.
Except me. Okay, I'm just kidding. I know. And you would be happy serving with me.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.
Because they have a change before we